All right, let's get right into it. We're hearing about AI everywhere, all the time, right? But how does it actually spread through our jobs, our industries? Well, it turns out it's not some random flood. Nope, there's a predictable, really powerful pattern to it, kind of like a strategic assault. And trust me, once you see the framework, you're going to start seeing it everywhere.
Just look at the language here, and assault on economic constraints. See, this isn't framing AI as some natural disaster we just have to deal with. It's framing it as a targeted campaign. There's a logic to how it spreads, a strategy. It actively seeks out the weak spots in how we work, in our value chains, and it attacks them, one after another.
So, here's how we're going to break down that assault. First, we'll look at the big picture pattern. Then we'll get into the fundamental rules that decide what AI can even do. From there, we'll see how it picks its targets, how solving one problem just reveals the next, and finally, we'll zoom way out to look at the three major stages of its long-term impact.
Okay, first things first. Let's pull back the curtain and look at the framework behind what seems like AI's chaotic advance. And it all really starts with one simple question. I mean, how does AI decide what to go after first? Why does it seem to just pop up in some areas overnight while other tasks that seem pretty simple are left completely untouched? Well, to answer that, we have to get back to basics, to the fundamental physics of automation.
So, how does this assault even begin? You know, before an AI can even be considered for a job, it has to pass through three critical, non-negotiable gates. Think of them like security checkpoints. If a task fails even one of these tests, it's a no-go, at least for now.
And here they are, the big three. First up, context availability. Can the AI actually get the information it needs? Second, actionability. Can it physically do something in the real world? And third, feedback latency. Can we figure out quickly if it did a good job? Let's break each one down. So, gate number one is context availability. This is all about the data. It has to be digital, it has to be legal to use, and it has to be accessible. You know, an AI can tear through 1 million legal documents if they're in a database it can connect to. But it can't tell you what's happening on a construction site if it has no access to real-time video or sensor data. No data, no AI. It's really that simple.
Next is actionability. And this is a huge deal. This is what separates a helpful little assistant from a true autonomous agent. Can the AI just give you suggestions, or does it have the permissions and the technical pathways, the APIs, to actually execute the actions it recommends?
And this right here is the perfect way to think about it. An AI tool, well, it might read your email and draft a reply for you. That's pretty cool. But an AI agent, an AI with actionability, it doesn't stop there. It reads the email, drafts the reply, checks your calendar, finds the time, books the meeting, and sends the confirmation, all by itself. It goes from passive suggestion to active execution. Game changer.
And the final gate is feedback latency. Basically, how fast can you tell if the AI nailed it or messed up? Think about AI-generated code. A developer can run it in seconds. If it works, great. If not, junk it, try again. But what about using AI to design a new pharmaceutical drug? The feedback loop on whether that drug is safe and effective could take 10 years. If that loop is too long, the business case just completely falls apart.
Okay, so let's say a task makes it through all three of those gates. It's now officially possible to automate. But that doesn't mean it's going to happen right away. We've only got so much time, money, and attention to go around. So AI gets deployed strategically where it can have the biggest impact.
And this happens with a kind of two-pronged strategy. On one hand, AI goes after what you could call system bottlenecks. These are the high-value clogs in the pipe that are holding an entire system back. But on the other hand, it also attacks simplicity targets, the easy, low-hanging fruit that gives you a quick, obvious efficiency boost.
So for a system bottleneck, think about something like e-commerce delivery. The real constraint is often that last mile to your doorstep. An AI that can optimize all the delivery routes doesn't just help one driver, it makes the whole network faster and more efficient. And for a simplicity target, think about transcribing your Zoom meetings. It's probably not your company's biggest expense, but AI can do it so well and so cheaply, it's an immediate, no-brainer productivity win.
So AI attacks these big, system-wide problems, and these small, easy wins. But here's where it gets really interesting. What happens next? Because the process doesn't just stop there. In fact, solving one problem almost always shines a spotlight on the next one, kicking off this incredible chain reaction. And this is the key insight, right here. Automation isn't a one-and-done deal. It's a moving target. Every single time AI fixes a problem, the system rebalances itself, and a new bottleneck pops up somewhere else. And guess what? That new bottleneck becomes the very next target for AI. Let me show you exactly how this plays out.
Take a customer service department. Step 1. You roll out a simple chatbot to handle all the easy, repetitive questions. Great. But now your human agents are only getting the super hard problems, and they've become the new bottleneck. So, step 2, you deploy a new AI tool that helps them find answers faster. Their efficiency shoots up, and now the bottleneck moves to quality control. So, step 3, you bring in AI sentiment analysis to review the calls for you. And it just goes on and on and on. The cascade just keeps pulling AI deeper and deeper into the process.
Now, let's zoom out. When you take this cascading pattern and you apply it across the entire economy, it seems to unfold in 3 distinct stages, and each stage is defined by the type of bottleneck it's attacking.
Stage 1 is pretty much where we are today. We can call it local optimization. This is where AI is used as a point solution to automate specific isolated tasks. Think about an AI generating a social media post or writing a basic bit of code. It's attacking bottlenecks at the individual task level.
And right away, we hit the first brutal reality. This stage targets the exact kind of work that junior employees used to do to learn a profession. When you automate those tasks, you're breaking the rungs on the traditional career ladder. You're hollowing out those critical entry-level roles that have always been the way in.
And that brings us to stage 2, workflow integration. Here, the focus totally shifts. Once you've optimized all the individual tasks, the new bottleneck becomes the handoff between those tasks. This is where those AI agents with actionability really start to shine, connecting and automating entire processes from start to finish. The consequence here is just massive. Static job descriptions, they become basically useless. It's no longer about whether you can do a specific set of tasks. The critical human skill shifts from doing the work to being able to design, manage, and oversee these increasingly complex automated systems.
And finally, that brings us to stage 3, value chain creation. This is the end game. This is where AI becomes so powerful that it can solve problems we used to think were impossible. It breaks fundamental constraints in entire markets and allows for totally new kinds of businesses to even exist.
And this is the ultimate disruption. The companies that just used AI to do their old business model a little faster or a little cheaper, they are going to be completely outmaneuvered. They'll be made irrelevant by new companies that build their entire business from the ground up around the incredible new possibilities that AI unlocks.
So there you have it. That's the pattern. It's a cascade that starts with simple tasks, grows to integrate entire workflows, and eventually completely reshapes whole markets. You now have the framework to see it happening all around you. So the only question left is, which bottleneck in your world is the next target on the list?